Okay, hang on. That was a very spooky burp.
Wow, that was. Yeah, that came from the bellows. That was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Lillian Bustle.
What's up, Jen Ponton?
I know what's up.
You do know what's up.
It's spooky Halloween.
I love it. I love it. It is smack in the middle of October. It's beautiful weather.
It's so beautiful after like restorative, like torrential biblical rains.
Yeah, that's the truest.
It feels so lovely. I'm super excited. I got hustled out of an autumn last year because in Minnesota what happens in October is it was like 80 degrees until the middle of October, and I was like, this is bullshit.
No.
But then almost overnight, cold snap.
Ugh.
And the leaves turn like yellow and then fall.
No.
And I was like, no. And they all fall at once. And so fall took like 36 hours. It was horrible.
That's like the animation in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes. Yes.
Like one leaf falls and then it's all...
equally like I was being pranked. It was terrible.
Ugh, that's awful. This is my favorite time of year. And first of all, it should be illegal for any place that gets to like, what, 20 degrees below? What was your low?
Oh, yeah. -20.
Yeah. 20 below. Is 20 below the same as -20? Yeah.
Yes. I just blonded on that.
No, I had
Hardcore.
I had a very like, are we using Celsius moment? Absolute zero. Who am I? What's happening? And scene.
You are exactly that meme of the woman doing math. That sounds so much more sexist than it is. Jesus Christ. Oh my
That's
God.
fine. We were talking about, it should be illegal for a place that gets that cold to also get that hot, is what I was trying to say. That's terrible.
Absolutely. I have been faced with a number of instances over the last year of my life where I feel like fucking Violet Beauregard, and I'm like, that's not fair. And the universe is like, bitch, I'm not supposed to be fair.
Right.
Like, I'm chaotic. And I'm like, no. And, that just doesn't work out in my favor. So, yeah, it was hot as fucking balls. And it was colder than a witch's tit.
No.
I suppose. I was hoping for new metaphors, but I didn't have any. And then I was just going to throw some weird spaghetti at the wall.
Cool.
So
I love your weird spaghetti.
lean on the old reliable.
Lean on the old spaghetti.
Thank you for liking my weird spaghetti. Okay, this is not an ad. This is not an ad, but I have to talk to you about food for a minute because I finally was influenced into trying HelloFresh.
Oh, yeah.
I like it so much.
Oh, yay.
And I am a boxed delivery person. So like I have been for the last 6 years, and I'm not throwing them under the bus at all. They're amazing and I love them, and I'll probably like switch weeks and incorporate other stuff, but I've been using Hungry Root for the last 6 years on and off, and I fucking love Hungry Root. The thing I love most about it is how quick and brainless it is. Like everything is meant to be ready within 20 minutes. And that's what's amazing. But the thing is, when everything is that simple, it doesn't really taste culinary. And especially having lived somewhere where the food was actually quite good. I'm craving restaurant quality food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that means I don't want to make my own, and that's a problem because I absolutely can and should be making my own.
Right.
And so I tried HelloFresh because it's like, hey, you make your own restaurant food, but it tastes like restaurant food. And I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, the pan sauces is really the thing with HelloFresh.
Ooh, they are good. They are good. I made what the fuck did I make? I made like an artisanal meatloaf that was really excellent. I made taquitos,
Fun.
which were fucking fantastic. And I was like, oh, I have the ability to make something that's not just like a soft taco. I have the ability to make it like delicious and as though I just went through,
Yeah.
Taco Bell. I realize it's not the height of cuisine, but we have to give Taco Bell their flowers.
Oh yeah. They do their job. They do it. They do exactly what they are trying to do.
Yes.
Yes.
And last night I made a salmon with like a Mediterranean couscous. I think couscous is already Mediterranean, but couscous and like zucchini and scallions and tomato, and it was fucking delicious. And I've never succeeded so hard in making salmon like that.
That's so great. Yeah, they like lay out the timing for how long you're supposed to cook things really well.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
We've done HelloFresh. We've done Blue Apron. We did Barley Spoon, which was terrible.
Oh, bummer.
Oh, no, it was...
Aren't they only soups?
No. Barley Spoon is from Martha Stewart.
Oh.
And it was as annoying as... It was like the reason why I stopped getting her magazine was because every single recipe felt like it had never been tested by anybody.
No.
Yeah, there was always something missing or something wrong. And in our entire time, we started doing box kits, shortly into the pandemic, like within the first 4 months of the pandemic.
Sure.
And
it's really the only thing that made sense.
yeah, and occasionally something would be left out of one of the other brands, but Barley Spoon, something was messed up with everything. Like it wasn't very good.
That's a bummer.
But Green Chef is what we're on right now, and it is honestly spectacular. Like I'm not trying to get you away from HelloFresh.
No.
But
and in fact, I took your recommendation and I also concurrently got Green Chef.
Nice.
So technically, this week, lined up next to each other in the fridge are HelloFresh and Green Chef.
no kidding.
Because your feedback about like HelloFresh it leans heavily on like pastas and stuff. I'm happy that I can find a lot of things that don't with HelloFresh, but Green Chef just inherently has a ton more veggies involved in the process.
For sure.
So I'm excited to also try Green Chef, but the good thing is they're owned by the same fucking company.
Are you serious?
HelloFresh bought them in 2018.
That's so dumb.
I know. So
oh my God,
that was
that's so dumb. Okay, whatever.
maddening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Here we are.
I know, right? Can't you just combine your fucking recipes and call it a day?
Right. Ugh.
Please. Yeah, that's irritating. But I am very, very pleased with the food itself. I'm thrilled that I'm making like culinary delights.
Yeah.
Earnestly culinary delights, not just like, yes, this food is good. Because I kind of get bored of my own food.
Sure.
After a while.
I hear you.
Like, yeah, I feel very nourished and like excited to be in the kitchen, and this kitchen is such a good kitchen to like just pedal around in.
Nice.
So that's been really thrilling. So thank you for the recommendations.
Sure.
And yeah, it's not technically an ad, but I was influenced, and if y'all need more food, maybe you'll be influenced, although we don't have like a promo code or anything.
No. Try new things. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Try new things. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yesterday I did a new thing, and for those of you who don't know, I had to have knee surgery on September 16th. It is now October 12th, something like that.
12th.
So almost a whole month since I've had the surgery, and my recovery is going really great. And yesterday it was so beautiful out, and I was like, I'm going to take my leg brace and my crutches and drag my ass down the stairs. I'm going to walk around the corner, she says with air quotes, to this green juice place that we have in our neighborhood called Vibes. And I love their juice, and I have not had it in a very long time. And it normally takes me about 8 minutes to walk there. At least that's what Google Maps says. However, I'm going to go ahead and blame this on Jersey City's shitty sidewalks. Now, technically, it's the fault. It's the responsibility of the person who owns the property to maintain the sidewalk. But like, what are you even talking about? Can you imagine having to
gotta pour your own fucking cement, I guess.
Exactly. Can you like,
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway. So, it took me 20 minutes each way to walk.
No.
What normally takes me 8 minutes. And I was so exhausted by the time we got there. I was gonna like drink. I was gonna drink my green juice there because like I don't know if you know this, but crutches don't have cup holders. So I was gonna just drink it there and then gonna go sit. Listen. I have all kinds of ideas to like revolutionize crutch technology, but I was then gonna go down to the park, and then I was like, no, you're not. No, you are going to drink your juice, Shelby, and you are going to sit and read. I was reading Aubrey Gordon's What We Don't Talk About When We Talk About Fat. And then you're going to drag your ass 20 minutes back home. And then you're going to sit with a massage gun on your glute for an hour and a half because I was, oh my God, my poor butt was so achy.
Oh, I bet. That's a lot for you to. You did a good job and exceptionally proud of you for knowing your boundaries.
Yes. Yeah.
And for calling yourself on what easily could have been your bullshit.
Oh, yes. There is a world in which I would have dragged to the park and then called Don and made him to come pick me up because because getting back would have taken me like 45 minutes.
Of course. Absolutely.
What did you just do to your head?
I put a ribbon in my hair. Like a creepy ghost child.
But I like that you just like left it. You tied it once. There you go. There you go. Perfect. I like that you brought up creepy ghosts. Do you want to talk about the movies before we go and do some spooky Jezebel stories?
Yes, and also I have to tell you a delightful and crazy story.
Yay.
I want to quickly share with you something that I put up in my stories because I saw a meme.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the meme was, what was the incident in your high school? And then the answer was something dumb from a Gen Zer. Not to say that Gen Zers are dumb at all, just to say it was a dumb story.
Sure.
Because we have really crazy stories. And so I put up a question. I shared it to my story and I put up a question box and I said, oh, please immediately share with me your high school incident.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then I wrote, where did they go? And then I wrote, I'll go first. My freshman year, herpes was running rampant because a wrestler had it. It spread via the mats and wrestling, and both home and away wrestlers and everyone they hooked up with got it. That is a real story.
Oh, no.
All of freshman year, all anyone could talk about was herpes. It was fucking crazy.
Wow.
It was a zoo. It was so bonkers. And so people started answering the question.
Yes.
My friend Julie told me, first she said a murder, and I have not yet heard it expanded upon.
That's it.
Uh-huh. Then I got, someone let a greased pig loose. Poor little pig ran through the halls for a while before getting caught.
Oh my God, like in Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's ridiculous.
Someone wrote, one of the students killed his mom.
No.
Mm-hmm. Someone wrote, putting the band teacher's smart car on the roof, which was delightful. Someone else wrote, a student and the facility manager's daughter were murdered by the same guy.
So much murder.
So much murder.
Wow.
So much murder. Anyway, it was a great prompt, and I, fuck buddies, please share with me, what was your high school incident? Lillian, what was your high school incident?
Oh, I'm trying to think of a scandalous one. Wow. I have to chew on it, but I'll definitely come back to it. The herpes thing is very funny.
Oh, it was crazy.
What? No, I don't. I'm trying to think, because I do feel like everybody had like a special assembly where they all had to come in and talk about something.
The thing that had happened.
Right. And I can't think of anything that they made a big deal out of. Like, there were definitely terrible things that happened. I think I told you, this very sweet art teacher, someone threw a fucking metal trash can at her head, and then she like checked herself into a mental health place.
Oh yeah.
Kids wrap their cars around trees. I don't remember anybody dying. The year after graduation, or maybe 2 years, this kid that went to school with us, his name is Reggie Canty, and he was the sweetest guy. My friend Ed had just started training him at some pizza place. They had just done pizza deliveries the night before, and Reggie died in his sleep. Just died.
Oh.
Like, I don't think that they know what happened. I don't know. I threw a huge birthday party for myself my senior year, and it was a scavenger hunt. And a whole bunch of people who I didn't invite showed up because there were prizes. And This kid, Ryan Unz, wrapped his Beetle around a tree because it was January and everybody was driving too fast to get everything done. But
oh, yeah, right.
oh, so that was a drag.
Okay, so before we get into spooky Halloween stories, I'm going to tell you about the craziest day that I had last week.
Yes, please.
So, had a really delightful, spontaneous trip to the shore. Went to LBI,
Yay.
which is so beautiful.
I've never been there.
I've only maybe been once or twice before. It's far down there. So like having been in the north essentially for my whole life and now being closer to southern shore points, it's like, oh, this is really nice that this can be my default location. So we stayed for a really long time. We like took the dogs. It was really fun. We strolled around towns. We found really good food. And we ended up being there much longer than we thought. And I was driving around on this little island that is parallel to the actual shore. And we got up to the tippity top and we went down a side street. And there were these beautiful, beautiful, like abandoned dunes. They weren't really abandoned. It's just no one was there. And it was a full moon, right? And so I was like, oh, Jory, let's go like walk on the sand now that the moon is right here and this is so pretty. So Jory and I get the dog. So we get out of the car and we walk up this dune and like it's just this little narrow strip of land. We should be able to see the beach.
Sure.
But I don't see it. And there's like a whole bunch of scrub. And I was like, Jory, pull up your map. Like, where exactly are we? Like, how far are we going somehow in the wrong direction? And Jory's like, no, like, it's just the beach. It must be just over yonder. And like, we feel this sand that was like talc powder, really, really fine, start to tamp down, like water reaches it, and Jory's like, see, feel it, it's getting wetter and wetter. And we're going through you've only got moonlight, but otherwise there are no lights and there's no people. And so the sand is getting harder and harder, and it abuts us into a bog, and we're like, wait, what? And I'm like, Jory, open up your map. Like, what is this? How is there a swamp on the shore? And as Jory's getting their phone, like they turn on the flashlight, right? As Jory's getting their phone, we hear footsteps behind us, turn around, and there is a giant dog who has followed us.
Oh my goodness.
It looked like a wolf, and we both scream so loud.
Yeah, that's scary.
Like, our dogs didn't sense it or see it or smell it or hear it or anything, right? So we turn around. The dogs barely even notice. This dog is huge. Thankfully, he or she was really, really, they were really chill. And I think the screaming scared it and it ran away.
Oh.
But we screaming, runs away. We start giggling. And then this man goes, "Aroo!" And we start laughing harder and harder. And we start walking back. And he's like, "Sorry, I scared you." And I was like, "Oh no, it's fine." But it's just like weird surprise swamp. And then, oh my God, it's a wolf. Under the full moon. It was amazing. It was amazing. The adrenaline.
So just really quick, you didn't see the dog and the man at the same time.
No.
Right. There you go.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So
sorry I scared you.
Still don't know how the fuck we would have gotten to the actual beach from that point. And like we'd spent a ton of time on the water anyway, so it was nothing was foiled. It was just like extra night beach time. But holy shit, through these beautiful like rolling dunes that you could get lost in.
Oof.
I mean, intense.
Yikes.
It was so spooky, scary, and like the perfect October activity.
Yay, I love that. So good.
So good.
Yay.
Ooh. So, as per our last email, we went back to Jezebel, which is the best place on earth to go when you want to discover some creepy shit. Mm-hmm. And all the comments have opened for their 2022 Spooky Halloween contest. So we pulled a bunch of stories respectively and excited to read them to you and to each other.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I would love for you to go first.
The first one that I have is I like it a lot. Seems to be from somebody whose username is Yuki7, but now they have names next to them. Nora Beatty Timmons.
Interesting.
I grew up in a small town in central Illinois, surrounded by miles of cornfields in every direction, broken only by the interstate to the east. Class sizes hovered around 80, and it wasn't unusual to invite half the class to parties. That's too big for a class. Mm-hmm. This was especially true for kids who lived on the outskirts of town or out in the country where lawns were big enough. Oh, maybe
I
like
think they mean
in your
graduating class.
Okay. In your history class, is every room a lecture hall? Okay. All right. Makes sense. This was especially true for kids who lived on the outskirts of town or out in the country where lawns were big enough for bonfires and massive games of flashlight tag. Chris was one of those kids. While most of us went all the way back to preschool, Chris was a more recent addition, his family having moved to my town from God knows where, and for God knows what reason. He lived in a big house north of town. One year, Chris threw a birthday party and invited most of our junior high class. Yes. It was fall, and we made the most of his yard, which stretched past city limits until it gave way to a wall of corn. We ran around like pinballs and toasted marshmallows in the bonfire. When darkness fell, we piled on a flatbed, arranging ourselves on hay bales and under blankets for a tractor pull. We bounced through corn stalks on an access path, delighting in every bump and turn, sloshing into our neighbors, shrieking with abandon until someone noticed the lights. A dozen of them emerged down the path, blindingly bright, roving the corn like spotlights. We grew quiet as we tried to make sense of them. We plodded along, finally growing close enough to see the lights belonged to cop cars parked in a small clearing. Town, county, even state patrol. I don't know if they'll pick that up, but a whole bunch of sirens just went by.
Interesting.
Several uniformed men approached us, hands waving. They told us to stop. It was hard to make out their faces in front of their spotlights, but I could see that my dad, a longtime town cop, was among them. Chris's dad shut off the tractor. We fell silent, straining to hear the cops over the static on their radios. We heard enough to start panicking. Convict, escaped, Joliet, headed south, I-57, last seen nearby, red flannel shirt. Our ride was over and we needed to turn around and leave immediately. We all looked at each other, too stunned to speak. Knowing my dad was one of the cops, the other kids turned to gauge my reaction. Was it true? The terror was written all over my face. Our reaction didn't matter, though, because Chris's dad didn't give us a say. He told us to stay quiet and we'd get back to their house as fast as we could. He fired up the tractor, making us keenly aware of just how loud it was. We circled around the patrol cars while the cops continued their search and began retracing our path, topping out at a painfully slow 15 miles per hour.
Yes.
Our panic grew at a much faster speed. With wide eyes, we listened for any little sound over the tractor, and then there it was, crackling, the sound of someone trampling corn stalks. Seconds later, a man burst onto the path alongside the flatbed, a man in a red flannel shirt. We watched in horror as the man ran right towards us with arms outstretched. He grabbed Chris and dragged him backwards off the flatbed into the corn where they disappeared into the darkness. We screamed at the cops. We screamed at Chris's dad to stop. He finally did. And the first thing we heard other than our own screaming was laughter from Chris's dad, from my dad, from the other cops. They were all in on it. Bastards. If you're an adult, the scariest thing about living in a small town is boredom. But if you're a kid, it's your own parents.
All cops are bastards. Abolish the police. Prevent shit like this from happening.
Exactly. Oh my God. I just thought that was so funny. Like, it was a good enough spooky lead-in that I didn't mind that it was we got punked.
Yeah. All right. 8 years ago, husband and I wanted to buy a home in a small river town in the rural Midwest. That's the theme today. Midwest. Reluctantly relocating for a job. Tell me about it. Any homes within a mile of the river were 100 to 200 plus years old. Most we'd seen so far were either too super run down and beyond our budget to renovate, or already renovated and out of our price range. I had a bee in my bonnet that I wanted to live close to the river. So pretty, walking trails, charming shops. So I refused to see any suburbia-style homes or neighborhoods. Don't fuck with me. Okay. Our realtor texted us at 10 p.m. with, "You won't believe this. An updated historic home in your price range is going live tomorrow, and I got you a showing. You'll be the first ones to see the house." We were stoked. We got there at 8 a.m. on the dot, and the exterior was gorgeous. 3 stories, red brick, intricate wooden gables above the porch, simple but lovely landscaping. It was on a brick street neighborhood of other historic homes with charming touches like original metal horse tethers lining the sidewalks and once gas-powered streetlights now updated with regular bulbs. There are horse tethers on houses on my street.
I love that.
It's so amazing. This house was between another gorgeous house and a church. I didn't like the idea of weekends being loud or busy with church activities, but I was so desperate for a historic home, I didn't pay that issue much mind. We gathered on the front porch, and the realtor couldn't get the code to work for unlocking the key box. So husband and I walked around the exterior for a few minutes while he called the selling agent. As we rounded the side of the house toward the back, I caught some movement inside the house from the corner of my eye. Oh, I guess the sellers are home. That's kind of weird, but also it's 8 a.m. on a weekday, so maybe they haven't left for work yet. We finally get inside, and I have 2 extreme conflicting thoughts/feelings immediately. The house is incredible. High ceilings, crown molding, huge sun-filled windows. And also, something is wrong. I felt a crushing pressure like my whole body was being squeezed, and it made my breath catch in my throat. As we walked through the first floor, I got distracted by lots of little details that seemed off. Family photos hung on the wall, slightly off-kilter, and in weird places, like right by the front door, but none in the living room. A placemat askew in the middle of the kitchen floor. The light didn't work in the half bath. The realtor opened the basement door, flipped on the light, and read the listing flyer that it was a partially finished basement. Husband and I walked down the stairs, and before even getting to the bottom, that crushing pressure I felt intensified. We looked around from the staircase, not even setting foot on the basement floor. There were stacks of books about 3 feet high all over the floor, and the musty smell of a probably gets water basement. I remember thinking, why would you have books directly on the floor when this basement is probably wet all the time? My husband, who is not touched in the way that I am, and my mother is, turned to me with a suddenly pale face and said, "I want to leave. This house is giving me the creeps." Don't have to tell me twice. We hustled back up the stairs, and the realtor says excitedly, "Okay, now for the top 2 floors." Husband and I looked at each other, and then at the realtor. I caught a sense that realtor, who we enjoyed working with so far, was putting on a fake excitement. I then realized he didn't come down to the basement with us. He didn't even descend the stairs. Husband said, much more calmly than I would have, "We've seen enough. This isn't our house." At that moment, the realtor turned on his heel without saying a word and walked briskly through the length of the house and out the front door. He got outside before we did, and I saw him take a sharp inhale, like someone would after being in a suffocating space, and finally get fresh air. When I passed the threshold out of the house, I felt like I could finally breathe again, too. Now outside, husband said to realtor, "I got a really bad vibe in there. What is up with that house?" The realtor, who grew up in this river town, said that this house has technically been on the market for over 5 years. No one lives in it anymore, and they put it on the market, then take it off a few times a year to try and stimulate new interest as buyers enter the market. It is structurally sound, nice enough looking, and in a great neighborhood, but no one ever makes an offer. He said this was the first time he ever showed the house and never knew why no one wanted to buy it. Now he knew. We all agreed something very bad was going on with that house, agreed to keep our eyes open for new listings, and parted ways. It wasn't until the drive home that I remembered seeing movement in the window while we were outside, and then wondering why random things like the discarded placemat on the floor were there, and the family pictures. Who is that? And the books all over the basement. Why not clean those up if the house has been on the market for 5 years?
Right.
It's 8 years later, and that house still hasn't sold.
Oh.
It has been on the market for at least 13 years. We found a historic but not quite home that we love.
Okay, hang on. Time out. Did you see all of that?
Was it a cat thing?
Yes. Hi, are you okay? I have to go get some paper towels.
Oh, no.
Hang on. Sorry.
So good.
Oh, my God.
It's 8 years later, and that house still hasn't sold, meaning it's been on the market at least 13 years. We found a historic but not quite so old home that we love and are comfortable in. Husband will still randomly bring up that creepy house, and when he does, I can feel that dreadful, suffocating pressure in my chest momentarily. Postscript. I just read this out loud to my husband for accuracy. He replied, "Violence. The terrible feeling I got from that house was violence."
Wow.
Fuck.
Oh,
Oh, God.
it is interesting when you're with somebody who is not sensitive to things, and then they're like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Uh-huh.
This is from McStabby Pants. I told the story here years ago, but I was reminiscing with my son the other night and was reminded of what happened when we lived in our former house. We moved into this rental brownstone when my son was about a year old. It was pretty, but very old and run down, and the longer we lived in it, the creepier it seemed to get. There were spiders living in the front windows that I could never get rid of. And I was constantly cleaning cobwebs out of the corners. The whole house had mahogany trim that was so old the finish had blackened and alligatored in parts, and the dining room was covered in dark oak paneling with a huge carved mantel that made it look like a Freemason lodge. It's a very specific comparison. My husband and I always joked that it was the perfect Halloween house. In fact, we had a number of Halloween parties while we lived there, and we barely had to decorate. The basement of this brownstone was really creepy. There was one room we were allowed to use, and we had our stationary bike and a couch down there so that we could watch movies. But the other room was locked with a padlock. Our landlord had never quite been able to get rid of all her stuff, so she used that room for storage. A corridor ran along the far wall, which was dark and dank and led to an old kitchenette area and a bathroom with a shower, both of which were piled high with dusty, forgotten furniture. When we first moved to the house, my son was not talking yet, just babbling, and he would often babble to the wall. He was a happy baby and liked to laugh, and he would babble at the wall and then listen to it for a minute and then babble again as if he were holding a conversation with someone. And sometimes he would babble and then wait, and then he would laugh and laugh and laugh. When he finally started talking, he didn't stop talking to the wall, so one day on a whim, I asked him who he was talking to. "I talking to the man," he said. "What man?" I asked. "The man lives here," he replied. It kind of creeped me out, but then I figured he had an excellent imagination for a toddler. And boy, was it consistent, because every time I asked him who he was talking to, he would answer, "The man." And he would laugh and laugh and laugh.
No.
Then one night, I was in the kitchen making dinner, and I heard the basement door open and close. I figured it was my husband, but then I heard running up the stairs and the scrabbling at the door, and then my son burst through the door sobbing and crying, obviously terrified. I picked him up and hugged him, and he was shaking. I asked him what was wrong, but all he could say was, "Demand, demand," over and over. He never talked to the wall again, and it was a long time before he ventured down into the basement.
Shit.
Not too long afterwards, I was talking to my neighbor about the house, and she mentioned that many years back, the basement had been used as a doctor's office by a man who lived in the house. I have no idea if this was the man or who the man was, if he was anyone or anything, but I do know that this basement was creepy. In the hallway, there was a piece of flooring that had been cut out and replaced. One day I picked it up out of curiosity, and underneath there was a small cavity that had been dug out, and in the cavity there was an axe.
Fucking hell.
I'm glad we moved away from there.
Oh my God almighty.
No, your little kid runs into the room like that. No. Also, if your kid isn't speaking in full sentences yet, why are they in the basement by themselves? But okay, whatever. Different parenting times, I'm sure.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I used to spend time at 2 cottages as a child, because I lost a sentence, I think.
Oh.
The 2 cottages were built by my grandfather on the second to last lot at the end of the road. Out the back, or front, we could never decide, of the cottages was a view of the lake, which was the core of most of my great memories from childhood. My family would travel there every summer for a couple of weeks with my aunts, uncles, and many cousins. While the cottages couldn't sleep that many, between cots and bunk beds and old couches, we always found a way to Tetris all these humans in. Days were all swimming and fishing. Nights were campfires and card games. We kids had the run of the place, with only one real caveat, which was to not go traipsing through the neighbor's yard. Their cottage was the last lot on the road. Its entrance driveway was overgrown, and their grass was always a foot or so high. My uncles always used to tell us it was full of snakes. The place certainly looked abandoned, and in the 2 decades we went up, I never once saw a person there at the same time as our family. It was so perfect that you never felt unease. Where did you go? Yeah. It was so perfect that you never felt unease. Or if you did, it was really jarring, like the one year when a lightning storm dropped a 100-year-old tree neatly between the cottages, or when a man went fishing in the little canal near us, but then he never came back out. At least, not while we sat and watched. And from there, you can imagine the stories we told ourselves. One area that was weird, besides the shed full of old water toys and fishing gear and spiders, was the crawl space, which smelled of mold and was too dark and buggy to feel safe going into. The cottages were built slightly raised due to the water, so the crawl was above ground, with the cottages being lifted about 4 feet up on cinder blocks. One year, though, my sisters and I got stuck in the back room. The furthest one from the bathroom, it was always dark. The light in there was just a little side table lamp. And there was only one window that faced the creepy neighbor's house. No one liked that room. It was always colder and had that damp cottage smell you can't get out of your memories. It had old pink curtains, and we had one bed in it that all of us had to cuddle in. The majority of the time was unnerving in there, and you were so tired from playing, you'd fall asleep instantly. Unfortunately, on one godforsaken stormy night, because weird stuff never happens on normal nights, I remember waking up and staring out the window. No clock to tell me what time, of course, but it was dark outside. The only illumination was the lightning flashes, which always play tricks and makes you think the worst. I just kept looking out the window in the direction of the neighbor's house, and there would be a flash, and I could see a bit, and then darkness again. I don't know how long I sat there staring at that house, waiting for something to happen, something to move, anything. But nothing came from the house. Nope. It was closer As I was looking from one lightning flash to another, the window that was completely transparent suddenly had handprints. Kids' handprints, like ours, and big handprints, too. But all the way up to the top, covering every inch of this window, 12 feet or so off the ground.
Don't like it.
The next lightning flash, they were gone. I squealed, woke my sisters, but no one else saw what I saw. I found a spot on the floor in the main living room for the rest of the trip.
Yikes.
Never could sleep in that room again, though I did get bitten by a snake in the neighbor's yard years later.
Eee. Handprints. No.
Mystery.
Oh, I don't like it. After a breakup, I took a while to start dating or sleeping with anyone else for a little while, but decided after a year to get back on the horse, so to speak. While on Grindr, a headless torso guy sent a few compliments my way, and I was intrigued as the chat continued. He was about to move away in a week, said he was also horny but wanted to meet somewhere public first to get the vibe, which sounded fine with me. A pseudo date. We scheduled to meet a meetup at the nearby Top Golf later in the day. Do you know what this is? Top Golf?
Is that like, I think that's like the golf center where there's a giant net up and like you just, it's
like
tee
a driving
practice,
range?
maybe?
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of meeting closeted guys, but he was newly out, seemingly learning the ropes of dating men in his 30s. Pretty fit, leaving the armed forces to move a few states away, and was handsome in the face pics he'd sent earlier. It was going to be something simple and fun, hopefully. I get to the bar of Top Golf, and he states that it'll be an hour wait before a bin opens, so we agree to get a drink. This sounds British. They have Grindr in the UK? Probably. We decide to get a drink or two to get to know one another. As a former leader of an LGBT nonprofit, I've met all types and understand everyone has their own journey in life. But he was immediately uneasy with how openly I was discussing gay life where we lived. After 2 quick beers, I drank Coke. He seemed uncomfortable with how loud I was speaking about topics, but was flirty enough to keep me interested. It was when he suggested walking back to his apartment that was a block away that I should have thrown in the towel. It was a bit chilly as we stepped outside and we walked further away from Top Golf. My body told me to run and run now, but I kept walking along, continuing conversations as best I could because I also couldn't stop thinking that he could easily catch me. Yep, I've had that thought before. If I suddenly bolted from our stroll.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
No. The apartment is fine, big and roomy, and a few boxes are already packed. I sit down, unsure if I'll be murdered or have sex or both, but make myself as comfortable as I can be on his couch while he sits across.
Keep it spicy,
right? Comfortable as can be on his couch while he sits across from me in a love seat. His demeanor changes once we're alone and tells me the story of how he recently met someone else on Grindr the week before, but the guy was just so confusing towards him. He talks about their hookups, how the guy led him on to thinking something more was optional, and how the hookup seemingly ghosted him, blocked him on Grindr the next day, but then would call him from new phone numbers and lead him into thinking something else could happen with him. I'm sitting there watching him angrily recount details, and I'm getting more nervous as he discusses how he doesn't really like hookup culture. I switch off my horny brain and start wondering about whether I'll be able to walk out the door alive.
Oh, fucking fuck.
I reiterate that I was upfront about the planned encounter we had planned, but I'm respectful of chemistry and vibes in person. I talk about the history of my dating, how most recent relationships started as fun, but love developed, and while it didn't work out in the end, I'm glad I pursued it. He lightened up a bit, and I spent an hour and a half playing pseudo-therapist to this uncomfortable man. Sorry. Beep, boop, bop. Okay. The coke started to hit my bladder, though, and while I didn't think I would escape alive if I ran out of the apartment, I asked to use the bathroom. This guy's making choice after choice after choice. He confirmed I could,
oh my God,
but stated emphatically that I could not use the guest bathroom close to the front door, but to use the one in the bedroom. I got up and he tensely shot from his seat, seemingly worried I was going to walk into the guest bathroom, but I assured him I wouldn't, as it was a mess in there, supposedly. I was relieved when I was assured he stayed in his seat in the living room, didn't come up behind me or try to knock me out or something. Good point. Upon returning, he stated that our golf bin was finally ready, but by then it was close to midnight, and I faked having to work in the morning. He stood in front of me before we exited his apartment so that I wouldn't go close to that guest bathroom. The walk away from his apartment and back to Topgolf was still creepy, but I was able to walk much faster than before. I gave him an awkward hug goodbye, but made sure not to do it close to my car in case he wanted to write down my license plate.
Oh, Jesus.
I watched him walk back into Topgolf before getting into my car and leaving as quickly as possible. I cried a bit once I was home, feeling relief that something bad was in that guest bathroom, maybe his hookup from the week before. The next day, he thanked me in a message on Grindr for the evening and giving him hope about meeting decent guys on the apps in the future. I was too worried to block him for angering him as he said the previous night that really pissed him off when guys did that. Since I could be easily found in a phone book, I kept the chat brief and wished him well. He told in another chat that the hookup he had discussed hit him up again. I wished him well to make good choices, and I was probably going to take a break from meeting anyone for a while. I assumed he moved as his profile disappeared from nearby view, and I never heard any stories of a body or blood being found at his complex. This actually wasn't very exciting. I'm sorry. I have night terrors every now and then, and a month after that meeting, I had one that kept me up for the rest of the night. I even threw a pillow once awake at the lingering presence in the doorway. In the morning, I went to pick up the pillow from the doorway and looked at my front door. I noticed the door was unlocked. I've made sure it was locked every night since.
Oh my fuck. No.
So in reading it out loud, like, did anything actually happen? No. But being trapped with someone who's scary is scary. Like, I remember being alone with like adults, or even when I moved up to New York and was technically an adult, like being around people that I couldn't get away from for one reason or another, whether it was like a stupid job that I was working or what. And you're just like, this is not good. Like, this whole vibe is bad.
It's really bad. It reminds me of that very beloved story where the guy outside of Chicago met this man who, right, they kept hooking up, and then he was like, I gotta go into the basement, and he would like go in the basement and you'd hear him like screaming and crying.
Yes.
And, like tools rattling
Yes.
around. This guy just is like, how do I get out of this? And it's
That was a good one.
So good and so distressing. Oh my fucking God.
I think about that one, and I think about the one where the couple finds the hole. They go into this abandoned home. Do you remember?
Oh,
and the whole there's like the doll, yeah, the magazine cutouts of the dolls, and then the hole with like a bunch of people's IDs and wallets and shit from women. Meet moot mop.
No. Oh, fucking fuck. No.
Oh, one more each.
Yeah. All right, you want to hear? I have a really, really scary Florida one.
Yes.
This is fucking bonkers. Okay. All right, this user calls the story The Window. This happened to me the summer I turned 11 and is one of the scariest, weirdest things I've ever experienced. I would think that it was a nightmare, except at the end there was another witness. That summer, my parents sold our very regular one-story house and bought a much larger house in the next town over. And not just any house, but an incredibly unique one. The architect who built it used all kinds of old, reclaimed, or repurposed materials, so all the doors were 100 years old or more and had the original glass doorknobs. There were heavy wooden beams in the ceiling of the living room, and they were from torn-down bungalows on the local Biltmore estate. Ooh. And almost all of the windows were antique stained glass that came from England.
Nice.
Florida. The outside had wide, rough cedar planks instead of regular siding, and my brother and I learned early not to run our hands over them or we'd get splinters. It was the coolest house I have ever lived in. I'm describing the architectural stuff because the stained glass windows and the cedar siding come into the story. My room was also huge. It had its own bathroom, a walk-in closet, and French doors leading out onto a second-story screened-in porch that ran the length of the back of my house to my brother's room.
Can you imagine as a child? And then being able to go out there with just your brother? That's amazing.
The bathroom had a small stained glass window, and there were 2 large stained glass windows facing out towards the street, but at an angle because the house was built that way. It didn't directly face either street it was on, a corner lot, but catty corner or cater cornered. What? What English is this? Florida English. Another important thing, these windows, the windows...
Gator cornered.
Gator corner. And these windows, all the windows on the second floor, were deeply recessed under the roof line. It was Florida, and this kept the scorching hot sun from shining directly in any of the rooms.
Oh.
When we moved in, my mom put my bed against the inner wall facing the windows. Again, coolest, most beautiful, most original house I have ever lived in. Our parents didn't tell us about the house until the deed was done, and then they took us over there to see it, and we were so excited. It just seemed so huge and exotic and grand. The front door was also from England and had been the door to the men's bathroom in some fancy old pub. It still said gentleman on a brass plaque on the inside.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
And while they didn't discuss it with us at all, I knew in the way that kids know stuff from things they overhear that my parents were especially thrilled because they got a big-ass house for what was apparently a great price. We move in, and my brother and I spend the summer exploring the neighborhood, which was a lot older than the one we moved from, with a bunch of cool older houses in it, and trying to meet some kids, which we did. And when we did, we found out why our parents got a great price. The guy who built the house, who was a well-known architect who'd built quite a few unusual, unique homes in the area, was also a convicted pedophile. He built the house we bought not long after he got out of prison for his wicked deeds. All the kids in the neighborhood knew about it from their parents.
Fuck.
And when they found out which house we lived in, they were like, oh boy, you live in the haunted house.
Ooh.
The guy who built your house is a pervert and went to jail for it.
Oh my God, a pervert ghost. Ah!
It didn't help that the guy also lived across the street from us with his sweet but spacey wife. We got big eyes at the pervert revelation.
Wait,
but
sorry.
Snorted at the
Sorry.
haunted house.
The guy who built the house still lived in the area?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's not dead. He's living across the
No.
street.
Yes. Haunted, I think, kids who said you live in the haunted house meant, like, it wasn't specifically about the architect.
Sure. Okay.
Sorry, about the sex offender architect.
Right.
Should probably lead with the most important thing there.
Okay.
Fuck. All right. So we got big eyes at the pervert revelation, but snorted at the haunted house one since no one lived in the house before us. What exactly was haunting it? I mean, it looked like it could be haunted, but it was also technically brand new, reclaimed materials or not. But for the longest time, no one would come over to play, as the house had a creepy rep, due to the builder being a creep.
Mm-hmm.
I also happened to read the Amityville Horror that summer. This was not long after it came out. So, hello 70s. And long before it was debunked as fake. I've always loved scary stories, ghost stories, stuff that scares people, and never felt especially scared or freaked out myself. But for some reason, that stupid fake-ass book scared the shit out of me, resulting in my developing some serious sleep issues that summer. It didn't help that we were in a huge, strange house that I wasn't used to yet, and also because the house had so much wood inside and outside of it. Every room had a smoke alarm with a red light that was really noticeable at night. The one in my room was on the wall, not the ceiling, right next to the closet. And after reading that dumb book, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and see the red light and immediately think of Jody, the pig demon thing with the red glowing eyes that the daughter in the book saw. And I'd lay there thinking about the book and freaking out about the light. It usually took me hours to relax enough to get back to sleep. This happened almost every night. Horrible. Then one night, I wake up needing to go to the bathroom, do it, get back into bed, and then lay there looking at that light and wishing for the millionth time I'd never read that damn book.
Oh, God.
It was after 2 a.m., the whole house is silent, and I'm really not jazzed that the rest of my family is on the other side of the house, which isn't that far in the daytime, but seems like miles in the dead of night. And then I see something in the window out of the corner of my eye and look, and holy God, there is what looks like a human head peering in the window at me. 2 stories up, a head looking in.
No.
Okay, so this next part is difficult to write because it was so fucking weird and I really don't like remembering it. The windows of my room were very large. A 2-part design where the larger lower half was a rectangle, topped by a smaller sideways rectangle, intersected by a thick wooden frame. My mom put in shutters on the lower half. and sheer see-through curtains on the top half. Oh no, it's happening.
No.
I'm going to put in... This is going to become an ASMR story. Time for a lozenge. Okay. My mom put in shutters on the lower half and sheer see-through curtains on the top half. Some parts of the window were clear, like regular glass, some thick wavy glass, and some colored glass, all with the curly lead surround. When you looked through them, you'd get a distorted view of the outside, some clear and some not. So the head, or whatever it was, wasn't easy to see except as a shape. It kept rising up above the shutters like it was trying to see into the room and then sink back down.
Oh, no, I don't like that at all.
I have no idea how long it was doing that before I noticed it. My first thought was that someone was standing on a ladder trying to see inside. But if that was the case, then either the ladder was propped against the window glass below or the person was very tall. But then the head shape did something so horrible, so strange, I almost screamed out loud. It had been peeping. It had been peeping up from below the shutters like a regular person would. But then it disappeared, and when it reappeared, it was looking in from the side, like whatever it was changed position and was suspended sideways in the recess.
No!
Which was impossible.
Oh, no.
No. All thoughts of weird dude on ladder flew right out of my head, and bad thoughts about demons and monsters flew in. I lay there in absolute terror, watching as it would appear and disappear. No, sometimes from the left, sometimes from the right, then most horribly, upside down, as if whatever it was on the roof hanging over and looking in.
No, I hate that.
I hate it. Except again, these windows were in deep recesses, and the head was right next to the glass, meaning it was clinging or, dear God help me, floating right outside. This sounds like a Filipino folktale that my dear beloved Filipino friend would terrorize me with when we were college roommates.
Oh.
And she'd lay down on the bottom bunk and tell me the story. I'll tell you shortly.
Oh, my God.
At some point, I realized I could hear it as well. It made these faint scratching sounds as it moved around, sounding just like when squirrels scramble around on the cedar planks. I couldn't see any facial features. And it didn't look like it had hair, but it definitely had an oval-shaped head. I don't know how long I lay there, scared to death and watching this thing look in my room. But then, having no idea what was happening, my brother walked in to use my bathroom. One of the less convenient features of this house was that his bathroom was actually located off the laundry room on the first floor. And he didn't like walking through a huge, dark house in the middle of the night, so he used mine instead. Which was fine with me, and especially welcome at that moment, because it broke the strange spell. I screamed at the top of my lungs. The thing disappeared with a loud scratching noise, like it had claws that slipped off the cedar planks. And my brother said, "What was that?" Since my bedroom door was directly opposite the window, and he caught a brief glimpse of the something in the window before it fell or flew away or went back to hell. I started crying. "What was that?" my brother kept asking, and he was almost as shaken up as I was. He told me later that the minute he walked into the room, he knew something fucked up was going on, as the hair on his arm stood straight up.
Oh.
I spent the rest of the night sleeping in his room on his spare twin bed. The next day, we went outside and looked all around, but there was no sign of anything, no marks in the ground. If there was a ladder, no marks on the side of the house, no evidence at all that something had been crawling around my window trying to see in. We never told our parents. They weren't the kind of people who believed in the supernatural, and they would have dismissed it as a nightmare. Never mind that my brother saw it as well, and it was the kind of soul-scarring experience that would be made so much worse for being dismissed as out-of-hand imagination when I knew it had really happened. Nothing like it ever happened again. We lived in that house for years, and everything was fine. No more creepy stuff. But I wasn't taking any chances either. The next day, I rearranged my entire bedroom so that my bed was now between the windows, and I moved my dresser and mirror to a position where the mirror didn't face the windows either, so I wouldn't wake up and see something looking in reflected in the mirror.
Smart.
I also put a piece of tape over the red light and the smoke alarm, much to my stepfather's annoyance. I told him it kept me up at night, which was not a lie. And then she has put in a link to to the house listing on Realtor.com.
Oh, that's amazing because I am curious about that window.
Copy. So I'm going to text it to you.
Oh,
your phone is preoccupied.
Yeah, can you send it to me on Insta?
Yes, I sure can. Dude, come on. Come on, do a thing, pretty please. Where is you? Okay, so I'm gonna paste that to you. Okay, so it's in Clearwater. Oh my God, this house is crazy. I'm gonna open it simultaneously with you.
Yay.
Because I haven't looked at it either. Oh, wow. Oh, it's so cool.
Oh, man.
Oh, she was not lying.
Oh.
It is the most beautiful, incredible house.
Wow.
And like some of the woodwork for the banister and for the top looks like you're in a fucking like German Black Forest beer garden.
Oh my God.
It is really incredibly lovely. Incredibly lovely.
Wow. There's a pool.
Whoa.
Aw, I want to live in a house like this, but one that's not built by a pedophile.
No, right?
Okay, I think I found the porch.
Oh, wow. Yep. Wow, that is so beautiful. Holy shit. So, because holy fucking shit, that's scary. Someone wrote, I don't want to minimize your terror or distract from your scary story, but rather offer some less supernatural possibilities that are less disturbing. I lived in the country when I was a kid, and big raccoons and possums like to climb up the side of my windows and peek in my bedroom from all angles. They are incredibly agile. Is it possible that it could have been something like this? Also, Florida has a real problem with escaped exotic pets.
Oh, yeah. That's not surprising.
Oh, shoot.
But still, a raccoon head is not the same size as a human head, and it's not oval shaped. So thanks for trying.
So then she writes back and she's like, believe me, I've tried from every angle to rationalize this. It didn't have hair or fur or feathers or any features at all. It was a smooth, oval, round head shape. An animal would have to cling to smooth glass half the time for its head to be where the head kept looking in. There was no wood to hold on to. And it didn't move like an animal with the slow, almost coy way. It would rise up, stare, and then sink back down, only to do it again from a different angle.
Herk.
The most likely explanations besides monster are, one, it was a helium balloon because it would get trapped under the recess and bob up and down and seem to peek in the room occasionally, but that doesn't explain the scratching noises and commotion when my brother walked in.
It does not.
Helium balloons don't startle and take off. The other one is not pleasant, and that is that it would be a mean human prank. The builder was a pedophile, got caught, and did time. When he got out for reasons I'll never understand, he came back to the neighborhood and resumed his life there, being a huge amount of... he resumed his life despite there being a huge amount of dislike and hatred and resentment of him in the neighborhood. This resentful feeling spilled over onto the house itself. There were repeat incidents of vandalism while he was building it, and soon after the house was finished, someone set fire to it, causing extensive damage.
Oops.
He stubbornly kept fixing it and finally putting it on the market. There were no offers for a long time, and he dropped the price until it was a bargain when my parents got involved. After we moved in, the resentment was for a little while aimed at us as well. Anyway, it occurred to me that whoever set fire to the place might have thought it was funny to scare the shit out of us, or maybe even to try and scare us away. But I cannot work out how they did it. Did they really stand on a ladder in full view of the street for over an hour? And it doesn't explain my strong feeling that there was a sly, malicious intelligence behind it, that it had evil intentions. I'm in my 50s now. I've lived in different places, different states, and I believe bad people attract bad energy. I've had more than one crap neighbor, and they seem to attract a lot of negative energy. I think that the builder and the negative feelings that got attached to that house attracted something that night. It was drawn to the house, maybe even before we moved in. Maybe since there were people there, it was curious to see if we were the source of the bad energy. Fuck, oh no.
Well, lucky for you, I have a short, creepy, but fairly light This is from somebody called Running with the Voles instead of wolves, which is very funny.
Amazing.
Over the first lockdown, I decided to download a sleep tracker and take my sleep hygiene more seriously, as I've had interrupted sleep since childhood. It wasn't hard to use. I'd tell the tracker I was going to sleep, put it beside me, and then turn it off in the morning. Whenever it would log a disturbance through the night, it would make a little audio clip of it. Guess at what the sound was and title it with whatever it thought the disturbance was.
Oh, God.
I
watch too many horror movies for that. I know what that invites. Files you wish you had not discovered.
They were all pretty easy to identify. Snoring, sleep talking, shifting positions, throat clearing. Occasionally it would title a sound of my dog yawning as unknown, but was otherwise very accurate. So I wake up one day and I see a few disturbances throughout the night, one entitled Baby Crying, which made me laugh uncomfortably. Maybe I made a weird sound stretching or something, but I definitely don't have a baby and neither do any of my neighbors. I click on it to listen to the clip. And it is the sound, unmistakably, of a newborn fussing, and not far away, but picked up clear as day like I had a bassinet next to my head.
Oh my fucking God.
The tail end of the clip is a quiet shh, 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 like a mother hushing her baby. It is incredibly weird. I show my partner at the time, who can't come up with an explanation. I show it to my best friend, who likewise thinks it defies explanation but agrees with me that it's unmistakable. Later in the week, I go to show another friend of ours, my best friend, who's already heard the clip there with me, and the clip is nowhere to be found, completely gone from the clips from that night. End of story. I know. Yay. So that's the last one for me. Oh my God.
Fucking hell. No. No. No.
No.
No.
No. No babies.
Absolutely not.
No babies.
The advent of consumer convenient cameras and shit that just like, you have a baby, set up this camera in your room and wait for it to give you an app alert that you have a whatever. Fuck you. Absolutely not. No. That's a great DIY horror movie, but are you fucking kidding me? For literally anything else?
Oh God.
No.
Yeah. Very scary.
No.
Nope. And no.
I hate it.
A little bit more no. Well, I'm excited to dig through those and find some more fun ones.
Yes, that's going to be really, really exciting and thrilling and terrifying to collect. So, yay. Oh, we have to quickly talk about movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. So, my schedule is finally, like, changing. And I'm thrilled because I haven't been watching a lot of TV, except for having what I still believe is COVID. And, but I haven't like gotten into October viewing yet, or I hadn't, which is terrible because horror movies are already my favorites. And you and I have discussed a couple of really important drops, and also I have watched 3 over the course of the last 2 days, and I love every single one of them, and I'm going to have so many fucking recommendations this month.
Yay. So good.
Yay.
I finished Kevin Can Fuck Himself. The final episode just came out, and I have to tell you, like, it is a treatise on how women accept / internalize domestic abuse that's not physical, because it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, right?
It's amazing.
It's the whole like frog boiling doesn't feel itself getting boiled thing, and just like the whole it was brilliant. It was like, I want to write a thesis about, like, it was so
same.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
1,000%. I was shocked when I first saw it, and like, just the convention alone speaks volumes. And as the show goes on, and like, it's so beautiful and so terribly painful, and something that I personally wish I could not relate to as hard as I do. But I definitely do after coming out, after separating, after really like pouring through the rubble of what my life was for a very long time. I'm like, oh my God. And then I see Eddie Murphy so deftly do this. Oh, it's so beautiful and it's staggering.
Did you watch the whole thing?
It's just incredible. I haven't seen the final episode.
Okay.
I think I watched up through 205, but I'm not totally caught up on the finale.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Incredible.
Ugh. And also I watched Cursed Friends, which is we were talking about it, I think, on the last episode, which again, I don't remember the entire cast, but it's about three friends from high school who get back together, and they had a cursed MASH book, that game that we played when we were kids. So it's like, you know, what kind of house are you going to live in? Who are you going to marry? What's your career going to be? And like things start coming true. So it has sort of a Final Destination feel to it, but it is solidly hilarious. I don't think that there was anything beyond spooky, really. And Will Arnett is one of the producers, and it has a tiny little cameo in it that, oh my God, Jen, his character as this like hippy dippy medium, reminds me exactly of the person who used to run the piano bar that I used to work at, who then like went off the deep end and started like faith healing his father's toes and things.
Oh, fuck.
Bup. So I'll send you pictures later of them side by side. But again, notably, three fat main characters.
Hey.
And no real... I mean, I don't remember any jokes about it at all. In fact, Nicole Byer's whole thing is that she's supposed to marry Joey Fatone. And like the second he shows up, he's just like, I want to get it.
Yeah.
He's like chasing her the whole movie. Yeah. It was silly and cute. It was, you know, not a groundbreaking, earth-shattering movie. It was silly. It does what it says on the tin. It was silly and suspenseful enough that I kept watching it, and everybody in it was very funny.
Yay. I'm excited to see if I can get your access to watch it. You also texted me about my best friend's exorcism, which I watched this afternoon.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Yay.
I loved it.
Cute.
It was fantastic. Apparently there's a whole bunch of like shit takes on it, and I don't understand why. Like, the closest I could get is give me my queer ending, you cowards. But it's incredibly queer all the way through, and I do feel a little bit violet vulvaed by the end, but not to an egregious degree.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not yet like a hub of knowledge on queer cinema because I haven't been looking for it through a queer lens for too long, but I fucking loved it. It is super queer. It's set in the late 80s, and it's done extraordinarily well. The actors are really great. Like, it's a beautiful story. It's fun. It's delightfully scary, but definitely not too scary.
Nice.
Definitely not. And some of what I'm doing is like screening for what can I recommend to you?
Yay.
What can I recommend that Jory and I watch? Like, because I'll watch the stuff that's too fucking scary, and then the stuff that's like, yeah, just a few delightful bits here and there, or like a spooky overtone. But I loved it. I also watched a really, really fun, low budget, like a couple friends over a weekend, like, let's make a scary movie in an abandoned, tagged, decrepit old house in Utah. And it's called Deadstream. And it's
like live stream.
Really fun. Yes. And it's about a live stream YouTuber who's sort of PewDiePie-esque, but very, very, very lovable. So, like, he is kind of like jackassy, but he very, very likable. And that's the filmmaker as well. And so it's all, you know, like mounted cameras that he's wearing as he live streams like the dumb shit that he's going to do. So it's sort of like Evil Dead crossed with Jackass.
Cute.
And it's great. Like, it's definitely budget and done with a small group of people, but really fun, done lovingly by like horror fans. Very well done horror comedy specifically,
Nice.
which I adore.
Yeah.
That was a blast. And then yesterday I watched the craziest fucking movie called Honeydew on Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a horror movie. It is not really a horror comedy, although it's done so well that there are elements that feel very funny. The actors are spectacular. And it's so weird and odd and stylized and good and strange and is scary but not terrifying. Although of those three films, I would say Honeydew is the scariest.
Nice.
It's more unnerving than anything else. But it's also so fucking good.
Nice.
So, yeah, I am having a very good time. And I'm also excited to watch Prey, which has been out
I've
for
heard
a little
about that
while.
too.
Right. So it's the prequel to the Predator movies. And I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to misspeak, but I believe it's made with a bunch of indigenous filmmakers as well as the cast, because it's an indigenous story. It's about like that scene in It when the kids do the smoke ceremony and they see what the land was like when it was native occupied and when the alien that is It arrived in their territory. And so that's basically what happens to this Comanche tribe when the Predator lands from outer space, and like how is their tribe affected? Like, what is it like being hunted by this thing, and how do they protect themselves? So it's really exciting. So that's sort of more action-y, like a monster movie. I'm sure it'll have some jump scares and shit. But,
Nice.
very excited to watch that.
Cool. I am definitely in a spooky mood. I got some high quality hot cocoa from Trader Joe's. I'm like, I still do not like the super, super scary shit, but I just don't like the torture-y stuff.
Oh, I hate that.
Like, I like a jump scare, and I like thrillers, but
if you like thrillers and dread, if you can handle dread, I recommend Black Phone.
ooh.
Black Phone came out. It stars Ethan Hawke. It came out over the summer, and I went to go see it in theaters, and it is very fucking creepy.
Nice.
And there's a couple of jump scares, but it's not formulaic.
Right.
Effective and really good and not torture.
Cool.
But like the threat of torture looms unspoken, so you get the, like, it is in that genre, but it's tasteful.
Nice.
You know? Yeah.
Yay.
Very good.
Well, this was
Phone.
great.
Girl. Oh, the last thing I have to say about Honeydew is that there is the craziest, most bonkers batshit cameo by Lena Dunham.
What?
Who is not someone I seek to watch. Like, it's not her film.
No.
And I was like, my secondary reaction was, why is this asshole in a movie? But the way she's... It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It was crazy enough that the predominant feeling was, oh my God, what the fuck? As opposed to, ugh, I hate her.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is quite a feat, I think.
Yes, I would say so. She's not my fave.
Oh my God. Done. So yeah.
Well, I hope
the
everything's going spooky for all of our listeners, but in the good way.
Right. Definitely not in the way where, like, you need an intervention.
Right. And thanks to everybody who's been checking in with me about my recovery from this surgery. I'm happy to report that things are going so well.
You're doing so well.
Thank you.
It's really fantastic.
I'm
Like,
excited.
you aced it. You prepared yourself super appropriately and abundantly, and then it happened, and then you were like, okay, exert maximum care.
Right.
And look at you.
Yay.
Not even a month in, and you've already hit all these milestones. You're doing so well.
And I'm so glad that I can barely remember that first week because that was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I bet.
Oh, all right.
No funsies.
Well, I miss you. I'm happy to see your face.
I'm happy to see your face. I love you so much.
I
and
love
miss you too.
you.
I love you so much. All right, fuck buddies. Spooky Halloween.
Yeah, and touch base with us and tell us about your high school incident, and I will keep
Oh my
trying to
God,
think
yes.
of what ours was. I bet somebody else will know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had a limited range of vision when I was in high school, just because I was still untreated with ADHD. So I only could pay attention to what I could pay attention to and missed out on a lot.
Fuck. Yeah. Yeah. I apparently reminded a lot of people about the herpes outbreak.
That's so funny. Bless.
Glad to do my public service.
Well, one more reason not to do sports.
Hell yes. Let's keep adding to that pile.
Okay, I talk to you soon.
Okay, love you so much.
Bye, fuck
Bye, fuck
buddies.
buddies.